Oh, look at this. I'm about to go wash my face, but if you guys are wondering why I'm making this video, so I just uploaded a video yesterday, which was "You are not a failure, you're just carrying it." That is the second episode of my series, the Burden series. If you guys have not watched it or the first episode, go watch it. I'm making this video because in that video specifically, I talked about surrounding yourself with grace-filled people when you feel like you failed in life or you feel like you failed in a very particular area. And if you're surrounded by people who keep ridiculing you or condemning you, to not be around those people. But a thought popped in my head, and that thought was, how would someone cut off or separate themselves from people who they necessarily cannot separate themselves from, like like family members or a coworker or colleagues or like that friend that you don't really want to cut off. You don't want them to be in your life like that anymore. So this is specifically what this video will be about. I know I look tough right now. I know I look like beat up and dry faced and everything. I'm about to go wash my face right now. But I do want to say some words of encouragement. So the key to getting closer to your goals and the life that you want is to picture the life that you can't stop thinking about. When you do that, you're going to move so differently. You're going to show up more for yourself. You're going to start talking to people differently. You're going to start convincing yourself ways to get the job done. You're going to have more discernment when it comes to talking to certain people and taking advice from certain people. If you just keep God in your life, then you're going to... You just got to keep God in your life, pray on it, and move like God already gave it to you. Yeah, like I said, you got to keep God in your life, pray on it, and act like God gave it to you already. And speaking of showing up for yourself, something that I didn't really think about until I met my wife and, we started getting more serious is that when I make my videos, I want to look better in my videos, right? And what I just said right now, I actually made a video and I tried to say it, but I can't really show you because I have a mirror screen protector, but it's right here. I tried to make a video of me saying the same thing, but I had food crumbs on my face. And because I had food crumbs on my face, I'm like, if I want to take myself more seriously, I can't upload that. Because I can't upload that, I'm going to just wash my face and continue making the video that I was going to make. And I'm just upload this part of the segment to my Instagram. So if you're not following me on Instagram, go follow me. It's Donreality. If this is your first time watching me, by the way, thank you for clicking on this video. My name is Donreal. This is Donreality, my entire page, my personal brand where I help you get better mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, and financially. This is something that my wife be using. I don't know what it is. It's like, I can't even pronounce it, bro, but this works. As like a black person shaving, you get these bumps on your face and you just can't use a regular razor because it goes too deep. Because our hair coils, as soon as it comes out, it'll come out and then stab our skin, giving us that irritation. But this is, I just started using this and this minimizes that completely. Like it reduces like the swelling from the inflammation on my face and it makes my jawline pop more. If you shave and you don't want them bumps, whatever this is, take it, screenshot it and use it. Just use that much. Because if I don't use it, bro, my face is in trouble. Okay, so the reason why I'm making this video is because in my last video, "You are not a failure, you're just carrying it," there was a very specific certain part. I talked about how you could stop carrying the burden of failure, right? And one of those points were to surround yourself with grace-filled people. And I realized that there's a part when I said that, there could be a little bit confusion, because if you are surrounded by people who constantly condemn you, who are ridiculing you, making you feel like you are a failure, and those people that you hang around are people that you just can't cut off, or you can't not surround yourself with them because they are constantly in your life, right? Co-workers, family members, siblings, colleagues, peers, whoever. I want to make this video to let you know how to approach that situation if you can't surround yourself with graceful people. So if you are struggling with trying to interact less with the people that you necessarily can't cut off, right? The things that I do is I shift the dynamic, right? The power dynamic. When you go to approach somebody, or somebody goes to approach you, and you don't already want to be in cahoots with that person because they give you a negative feeling, I always try to control the dynamic, or I shift the dynamic, right? I keep it surface level. How I do that is I always keep it surface level with that person. I'm not mean. I try to be polite to them, but I don't go too deep into what I'm talking about. If we're having a conversation, I try to keep it very neutral and not tell them too much, because if I don't want that person in my business, I always refrain from sharing personal details. I always use responses like, oh, okay. Oh, I see. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, I got you. Bad. I keep it like that. I don't really go too deep into it. I try not to ask any more questions. I don't really want the conversation to go any more further than I want it to, because I'm keeping control of that dynamic, right? Second thing I do when I don't want to interact with people that I necessarily can't cut off is I control my availability. I try to limit the time that I'm at a place, and I set a time frame in my head, or I communicate it to whoever I'm with, or to that person, that I'm not going to be here for long. For example, I'll be like, hey, I have to be here at this time, or I can't be here too long. Usually I use phrases like that really early on, so that is in the back of their mind, so they know to be more considerate. And now if we're talking text, right? If we're talking about with our phones or text or whatever, I usually respond late. Sometimes that's just because I don't have the time to respond. But if I purposely don't want to be in cahoots with that person, I try to refrain from being fast when it comes to responding to people. The third way I interact less with the people that I necessarily can't cut off is I create physical or digital distance, right? What I mean by that is, if you have a coworker, right, and you have lunch, I would go eat in my car, right? Or I would go eat, because I know usually people have breaks. If it's not like a driving job, right, I would, like, you have like a break room, right? And you can go eat in your car, or you can go eat maybe back at the place that you were working at, right? So I used to have a job where I worked at a warehouse, and sometimes I would go eat in my car. Sometimes I would eat in the break room, or if I was trying to avoid someone or get back to work, right, I would go back on the job site, on the floor, and eat there, right? And that's for, a coworker, someone that you just want to cut off. Sorry if it sounds like I'm rushing through. I have to go to the gym in probably about 20 minutes, and I'm trying to fly through this, and I want to be efficient and not sound like choppy. Now, digital distance, right, or digital space, whatever you want to call it, if you do have a coworker and they do follow you, or you have like a pastor or someone that you just don't want to interact with, right, I would mute that person, or I would unfollow that person, or you can block, right? Blocking doesn't kill nobody, right? If you block somebody and they go out of their way to say something or make a whole new account, then you know that person is doing too much, and it would give you more of a reason to say something. But if you don't want to say something, if you're not confrontational, mute the person, block their stories, block them from viewing your stories. And it doesn't just have to be a coworker. It can be anybody, your colleagues, your coworkers, your brothers, your family members. It doesn't matter. Now, the fourth way to interact less with people that you don't want to talk to or have in your business is to redirect or deflect conversations. And what I mean by that is if you're having a conversation with somebody and you're trying to keep it very neutral, surface level, and they're talking to you and they're asking you a question that is too personal or you don't want to answer or you don't know how to answer, deflect it or redirect it, right? Change the topic in a very smooth way or deflect it by asking, hey, like, wait, why do you ask that? Right? And then whenever they talk about it, when they say, oh, because, so-and-so is looking for a job, right? If they're asking how your job is going and you're like, hey, why do you ask, right? And I was just wondering, ask a question based on what they said and not go back into what, you're trying to avoid saying. And if the conversation is going really negative and you want to exit that conversation or that environment, use exit lines, right? Exit lines is just things that, all right, I'm gonna have to get back to you, I have to go, right? The fifth way to interact with somebody that you don't want to interact with at all is detach yourself emotionally from whatever they're doing or whoever that person is. And what I mean by that is just because the person is near you, right? Just because they're your family member, just because they're your friend's friend or your family member's friend, whoever, or coworker, it doesn't matter. Because they are near you, you don't have to be invested. Once you know that, once you tell yourself that, oh wow, I don't have to actually care about what this person has really got going on, or I don't really have to care about what this person really has going on because they're always going to be near me. You can set emotional boundaries within yourself against that person. Don't try to fix them. If that person is always coming at you with a problem, you can pray for them. You don't have to try to fix them or fix their problems. And this is for all my Christians out there. The Bible tells us to love thy neighbor as thyself, right? And if you're a follower of Christ, you can still show love to that person without over engaging. I hope that makes sense, because I want to make it very clear that love, or I guess distance, doesn't mean access, right? Just because you love that person does not mean you get to allow that person to have access into your life, into your business, especially if you know that person isn't on the same mindset and positive outlook on life as you. My last and final way to interact less with a person that you necessarily can't cut off is to use a strategic bias, right? And what I mean by that is, the person is trying to trauma dump on you or let you know things that you just emotionally can't carry right now. Just let them know, hey, I got a lot on my plate. I'll be able to get back to you soon. You don't actually have to say, I'll get back to you soon, because then they're going to be looking out for that. But you can fill your time with distractions so you're less available as well. And when I mean less available, I don't mean just do that just because you don't want to interact with this person. It's because you actually aren't available, right? If you guys like this video, if you guys get anything from this video, if I was able to help you in this video, send this to someone else that may needs to hear this. Like the video, comment the video. You don't have to subscribe because the algorithm is messed up. The subscriber count is messed up. It doesn't matter. But if you do subscribe, I would really appreciate that. I do want to grow my subscriber count, and follow me on Instagram if you want to see different type of content, because I do make different content on there. My name is Donreal. This is Donreality, where I help you get better mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, and financially. And I'm headed back to my reality.